Yeah, your eyes are not deceiving you. These two men are in the same room, right next to each other at a con, and decided, hey, we're gonna still show up. So I appreciate their tenacity and push. I want to introduce you. We want to get right into it. We have some amazing folks and sponsors, folks who have really participated. This is the con that they're at in Buffalo, Buffalo, New York. There's no other Buffalo, right? I don't think so.
No, not that I know of. I think
Not that I know.
I could be
I want
wrong.
to be that New Yorker that's like New York is the center of the world, but
Yes.
yeah, that might be it. So we have folks here, Mark Bernal from Lesser Known Comics and Brandon Bloxdorf, who is here representing big time Comics Wellspring. And I want to thank you first of all. What people don't know is that I'm actually printing my first magazine with you all and sponsorship for the Genx comics and the con itself. I have a ton of articles in there, and then it's going to basically blow up from there. So we'll be giving some folks at this con some books for free so that they can have their first magazine, the Genx Comics magazine. It'll be a collector's edition because not everybody's going to be able to get it. So, especially for free, that's also a good one as well. This is Brandon Bloxdorf. He's the founder and host of Apollo City Comics Podcast. He's co-founder of Apollo City Comics Publishing and the marketing director of Comics Wellspring with a BFA in creative writing. He has worked with various indie artists to put out Apollo's first punk rock comic book anthology, and out come the comics. Boom! Got it right there, front and center. Apollo City Comics now has over 10 titles ready to be released, including works by Brandon, such as Teenage Babylon, Fake Your Death, various anthologies, and more. After 5 successful years of running the Apollo City Comics podcast, Brandon is embarking on a new journey as the host of Comics Wellspring's own show, Inspired Inc. I'm waiting for that call for the voiceover so I can do that piece. Uh, it's a show where he conducts exclusive interviews with indie creators to help continuously inspire others to create comics. And Spilled Ink is the creative, physical, live drawing where Brandon and co-host Max Flowers ink various art pieces while discussing the process. If you haven't seen it, make sure you jump on that YouTube channel. It is freaking awesome and hilarious. Y'all have a lot of episodes too, which is also entertaining. I had it on in the background while I was working, and people are like, "What are you watching?" And I'm like, "Never mind, you don't get it." Um, and by day he grows and is sharing the indie comic book community, and by night he devours the universe. That was so ominous. Now, Mark Bernal, you've seen him. He's been here on this show. He's been on this he's been on our con before as part of a panel, but now he is joining forces as usual with Comics Wellspring to kind of give a kind of a wraparound conversation around what this looks like and why it's important to support and especially have this collaboration. So, Lesser Known Comics is a dynamic and forward-thinking comic book company founded in November 2020 by Mark Bernal. He's a passionate writer with a love for graphic novels. What began as a personal project to create a graphic novel quickly turned to a mission to support and empower indie comic book creators, giving them a platform to launch their careers. I found a video of y'all. It was the funniest video, but I loved it. But anyway, back to the show at hand. So Lesser Known Comics has 20 plus talented illustrators, writers, and creative designers to create over 26 captivating comic books and graphic novels to date. That sounds like the big three right there to me. That's a lot of production, a lot of comic books going out, and everything is centered around the artists and them owning their properties and also flourishing and building them out. So anyway, I'm gonna shut up because this is about y'all. I want to make sure people get to know who you are. So Brandon, Mark, you're in Buffalo.
We are. It's a Nickel City Comic Con, and we double booked cons this weekend. And it's one of those really cool, exciting things. Being at a convention is a lot of fun, and especially being part of Comics Wellspring and running my own publications. It's cool being in the nitty gritty of everything and tabling and being with our creators and knowing what they do and go through. I don't get any, cute hacks or anything. You know, I do everything just like the indie community does, and that's what makes working for Comics Wellspring so rewarding, because then I relay that to the bigger people, and I know exactly what the creators need, and I get direct feedback on the floor, and I get to network and, you know, convert customers and all sorts of stuff. So it's really exciting. Plus, I get to hang out with my friends all weekend and table and support my books. So it's really cool being at this convention. I'm lucky that Mark and Doug Knight, who's part of Cross-Eye Comics, is also tabling with us. He's here actually manning the table while we're gone. So yeah, it's really fun
Those are
time.
good friends.
Yeah. Yes, honestly, yes.
And Mark, you want to correct that that readout that I provided. So Mark, please correct. Let people know what's up, what's going on with
Oh,
Lesser Known Comics.
it's gonna, yeah, no worries. It's gonna change before the weekend's over, because with the thing that's happening with Lesser Known Comics, when it's not only is it creator owned, but it's a creator driven collective, right? And what that means is uh, there's a lot of creator owned publishers out there, but I got buddies that publish with them, and they'll say, hey, I'll be like, what's going on with your book? And they say, hey, I don't know. They let me know. But at Lesser Known Comics, people are in 100% in the driver's seat of what's happening with their comics, and these people are out of control. They keep making more and more comics. I greenlight one person to make a comic, another person make a comic, and they talk to each other, and they say, oh, hey, we're gonna make a comic together now. Like, next thing I know, I'm scrolling Instagram, I'm like, dude, this looks like a fire comic. I'm like, wait, this is one of ours? Oh, that's sweet. So it's hard to keep up, but it's great, and it's cool to see things grow, seeing things like Apollo City. 2 years ago when we were at Baltimore Comic Con, Brandon, he was running the podcast, and he was talking about this. He was talking about getting his first book. Now they got 10 titles. Like, they got such an awesome creative staff. We lean on them a lot, like in terms of the quality people that they have. Max Flowers, Alex Batts, helping us, like, because it's a lot to keep up with all this. So, having people like that can manage. Alex Batts, who's the co-founder of Apollo City, he's actually the chief operations officer for Lesser Known Comics right now.
And the marketing assistant for me at Comics Wellspring. So
yeah.
That was weird. Mark was like, wait, who is this on the other panel? Wait a minute. That's Brandon. That's
so yeah,
hilarious.
It's been really exciting, so and then it also gives me a lot of freedom to work on my books and stuff too, because I got this to make my own books. It's like trying to start a band and ending up with a record label. It's a little crazy, but it's been nice putting out my own stuff now.
Yeah. And I still owe you the read through, but I need some friends. I need some other voices. It literally turned into, I actually was going to do a read through of your books, all of them actually. And I sat there and I thought to myself, oh my God, I'm having like personality disorder at this point in time. I had different voices coming out of every which way. And I said, my God. So I promise to put that out there. I think Adrian, he's just Adrian, I need at least another voice. So I may have to even bring in, Brandon and Mark at some point too. So yeah, we'll get everybody together. And also Mark, the correction was that you have 100+ creators and almost 75 titles. That's insane. How long you been in like business? How long has it been?
Since officially, according to the government, February of 2021. So anything happened before there, I'm not liable legally. But yeah,
that's the official one.
Yeah.
So whatever predates is just hearsay.
Yeah, like I'm not collecting, I'm not paying taxes on that. That's for sure.
Yeah. Nope, never heard of it. Never heard of Lesser Known Comics before that time. Nope, it's not a thing. So let's talk about the printing and the work that Comics Wellsprings does, especially with like crowdfunding and working in collaboration with companies like Lesser Known Comics and other companies. Like, what is it about the business model that works really well for you all?
Well, what we do is we focus on comics. The company's gone through a giant revamp this past year, and I was officially brought on to Comics Wellspring early April. And they basically brought me on because I am someone that's in the trenches with creators and making my own books. I know what people want. I know what people are asking for. And being able to run these shows and programs and really just communicate with every creator out there that prints through us is giving us a lot of freedom and a lot of understanding of what creators are looking for and what we should do. And we stand out against all the other printing companies and everything that, other printing companies, I won't even name drop, bigger ones and whatnot, right? What they're doing, because we care about our customer, because we know exactly what our customer wants. So, the revamp we're doing this year is just to really make sure we're focusing on comic books, we're focusing on graphic novels, we're focusing on giving the consumer what they want with the highest quality. And, granted, the last couple of months have been a little rough because, it's a growing pain that we're going through right now. The company shifted around. We're owned by new owners. We have a different team on staff. We have a much smaller team. Our team is basically about 10 people, including the management. So we're very small, like mom and pop shop team, producing thousands of comics, taking in hundreds of orders every single month, and trying to get them out there to you guys on time, with the best quality. And with the switchover that we had from March to May, and the new website we're going to be dropping, it should be in July. We'll have a brand new website with new capabilities, new information. It's really exciting to be presenting this because we've been working so hard and diligently in the background to ensure that moving forward, we just provide nothing but the best customer service, the best printing quality, and everything that creators wants to really be able to make comics. And that's where all the shows come from. Inspired Inc., is basically a show to show everybody that, hey, comics are hard. They're really difficult. All of us want to quit sometimes. In fact, every single time Mark and I get on the phone with each other, we're like, this is it, right? Like, we're giving up this week. This is comics. We're done. Like, we're done. We're over it. And then 5 minutes later, like, what would be a really cool story? Like, these shows are here to showcase, like, all of us go through the pains of making comics, and they're there to inspire people to continue making comics. All of us have our own journeys, but we're also so similar in the pains that we experience. So Inspired Inc. is there to deliver that and give somebody hope, and no matter what situation they're in. And also providing Spilled Ink, where it shows that there's no excuse. I don't know how to draw. I'm a writer. I never took any drawing classes or anything, but I know how important art is. So I want to learn how to make art and draw. And so every Thursday night, no excuse, we're hanging out, live on YouTube as you see me learn, go through the growing pains and learn how to draw with phenomenal indie creators. And we'll be releasing a brand new show in the Ink series in July called Understanding Ink. Max Flowers is honing this one, and they're basically delivering a program that gives you the nitty gritty of making comics, file formatting, flattening files, lettering procedures, all sorts of stuff that you need to know that nobody really covers in any sort of video. So we want to give you every little piece of advice, from templates, from how-tos, from just whatever you need to make comics. Comics Wellspring is there to provide, from how-tos, learning, to the printing process. We are there 100%. I rerun all the social media, me and Alex Batts, so we're always there, attentive and answering creators, promoting Kickstarters. We're there to, the more Kickstarters go out, the more comics are being made, and that just makes us happy. We just want people to make art. We want people to make comics, and we love it, and I'm doing it. So we want everybody that's possible out there to be doing the same thing, and it's no excuse. I love it.
Yeah.
We actually don't do offset. We do offset in rare cases, especially depending on the order. Sorry, Daniel just popped in with a question. But we do digital printing.
Yeah, that's we, especially for indie creators. I run into so many folks that go to offset first. And the digital one is the way to go. One, from like a standpoint of like, I cannot tell you the amount of creators that are sitting on 2,000 books with a small typo in it. Like, right. I also think there's something psychological about like sitting on like 2,000, because that's really where, like, once you get into the thousands and thousands of books, but the interesting part too is, yeah, Comics Wellspring, I've had in multiple cases their digital options were cheaper than a lot of folks offset stuff. Especially like printing here in America, which, and we wave the flag here. You got to print here in America, okay? You got to support jobs. Two, like actual worker safety conditions, where your paper's being sourced from. Like if you get stuff in America, like your paper's being sourced sustainably, like people are getting paid fairly. They're not dumping chemicals in like Mekong Delta and places like that. You know, people don't think sometimes about the carbon footprint of like what it takes to ship comics from China all the way to the United States. You know, so, you can do something that's really good for America and really good for the planet, when it comes to like how you source your comics, So anyhow, that's another.
And if there's an error or a mess up or something happens, you're not having to wait months for things to get shipped out. You have to like just contact us, let us know. We'll help take care of you. We'll sort out the situation. Our customer service is phenomenal. Anyone who's dealt with Pam or Mel, or probably me or Alex or Jacob, who also help with customer service, that we'll take care of you and we'll answer your questions and we'll get back to you. We're a very communicative team, and we've worked really hard on enhancing our communication skills the past couple months to work better with our customers.
God, yeah, you need your infomercial ready. You need and you need your own channel, maybe a radio station. Didn't we talk about that? Yeah, one of the big things that so Mark actually put me on to y'all, and I remember going to a Baltimore Comic-Con and meeting some folks there, and I was just floored at how like the customer service is an extension of like your personalities and how you want people to feel empowered and do better and do more. And what's better than doing it with folks that you trust? I know that's another piece to Mark's his team, and really making sure that to him is important. It's not a frat boy type situation. It's actually like people who care about each other are thinking about it in a much more complex way, relationship building and really connecting the dots, which is why these two guys are next to each other at a con, committing to me, saying I'm going to be at your con. And I appreciate that. That's just the way that we do things, right? So just the customer service is definitely a piece of it, but it stems from just the commitment as people and just looking at people and seeing them, and representing. I know Marcus talked about diversity in his books and making sure he has all that as well, because that's also shown in the output. So, but go ahead, Brandon, what were you saying?
And that's what's great too, because like as the creator myself that works for Comics Wellspring, any sort of hiccups or bumps or anything that we go through, I'm going through it too. Any sort of, we were really behind on pre-press and like shipping books out because of the systems that were in place at the time. I was affected by those. So it's one of those things that like when we communicate things, it's from honesty and integrity. And if you ever meet me at a convention or talk to me outside of, an interview of any sort, like you'll see I'm the same person. There is no personality that you see on this channel right now versus how you'll speak to me later. We're very, honest people. We're very transparent. And I always try to answer everything as transparent as possible, because, making up stuff or, working around things just doesn't work, especially with comic book creators. And I love being a resource that people could come to and speak to and feel comfortable with, because if you meet me, if we have an interview together and then we meet at a con, it's the same personality. And I love being that type of person where I'm just trying to be as genuine as possible with everybody I can, except for Mark. That's different.
He's like, hey man, TMI, I don't want to know all this about you.
Well, that's cool. Well, I did want to showcase some of your work, and this is like Mark. Oh gosh, I have this. Anyway.
Sure, yeah.
Oh, we got it right here.
Yeah, so I got both Death Wish.
Okay, cool. So you have everything that I have here. Yeah. And either them or us. Come on, like.
Oh yeah, we sold out. We sold out of that, so I don't have it to show off. But that's my Samurai's First Witches in 1980s Japan. Yeah, it's been really cool over the last few years. So I've made 3 full-length books. I got a 5th one finished actually. Just got to get it lettered. And then I got 11 of these like mini 6-page to 10-page comics that kind of build out the universe that I'm writing, which is really exciting. Gave me a lot of chances to work with a bunch of different illustrators. And my biggest piece of advice to people is to start small. Make a 4-page comic, make a 6-page comic. Just keep building and building out. A lot of it. We wouldn't in anything else, right? Be like, well, I never ran before, so I'm going to start with a marathon. Like just try and make it to your mailbox first. There's no shame in that, right? you know, and you know, with everything, um, you know, I'm part of a dad running group, you know, so I go out with the other dads that are trying not to be fat, right? Like, you know, so we go out running, you know, and in anything in life, community is the single biggest predictor of success. You surround yourself with people who care about you and have passion for what you're doing, even if they're not interested in it the same way that you are. You know the people in your life that like that ask you questions. You know, hey, what's that thing you're working on? Like, are you still doing? Like, tell me more about it, right? And people like comics. People like being near folks that are following a passion and not letting go of the dreams that they had, you know, as a kid, right? Like no one wants to sit in a dinner party conversation and hear how you're still working like 9 to 5 at the job you hate and you have no ambitions outside of like work. You know, like, yeah, I just go 9 to 5 and do my job and I come home and stare at the ceiling. I'm just angry until I start over the next day. No one wants to hear that. Like find your passion for something. It doesn't matter if you're rock collecting, if you're just like, you know, I don't know, whatever, but like do something creative, you know. And comic books, yeah, it's fun. It's a collaborative medium. It's like being in a band but not having to be with the whole band on every tour date. You know, it's a pretty sweet gig.
Well, I hate to transition because I could talk to y'all forever. I enjoy all our conversations. I know you have a con to be at. Somebody's at a table cussing y'all out, going "damn you." So they're probably hungry. I don't know. Y'all probably, you know what happens at cons? People don't eat. They just sit there. They're in the background somewhere eating like a cheesesteak or something. And
we got to find food ourselves soon because it's been a day.
It's been a day. Yeah. You forget to eat when you're immersed in what you love, right? So that's great. But I want to thank you all. I want to thank Mark. Thank you so much. You've been a really great friend, and Lesser Known Comics brand is going to be here forever. I love the fact that you are about the artists and saying to them, hey, you can start with us, and then if you decide to leave, that's fine, but you'll find, you know, it may not be greener on the other side. The grass may not be greener. So, and then, you know, Brandon, thank you so much for like your friendship too, because in the past couple of months, we've been like having conversations and just talking about what's next and what we could possibly do as a collective. So we've decided that we're going to talk about doing basically what's happening within the ecosystem of their podcasting and the how-tos and the whatnots, and just basically using this platform again to really make it a much more robust opportunity for Comics Wellsprings to kind of send their message out in the same form and fashion. So I want to thank the both of y'all. Comics Wellsprings, thank you. Lesser Known Comics, thank you. Brandon and Mark, y'all are hilarious, and I can't wait for y'all to eat your cheesesteak or whatever you're gonna eat, because you know Mark is not gonna eat a cheesesteak. He's got to run tomorrow. So
thank you for having us. You're doing amazing work. This, you know, this virtual con, I'm a huge believer in what this is going to be, you know, and we're excited to pour whatever resources and we can and support into it. Thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you. And real quick, let me show them a little screen. Wait, is it up in here? Let me see. I'll have to show it to them later. Dang. Okay. Anyway, I don't want to impose my time. My friend Jim of Food and also Almost Vintage is coming up next, and I just want to make sure they get them.
Jim just gave a cool shout out on his last live video of Teenage Babylon and the Punk Anthology. So yeah, tell him I said what's up. Hollow City Comics. He's a great dude. I really appreciate him. And I appreciate you so much for everything we're doing. August 10th, we have something very special planned that we'll be announcing soon. We'll give you guys a lot of details, you know, in the coming weeks.
Yes, we're excited about that. That'll be really fun. So everybody, off to the next session. Onward and forward. So here we go.
Fun.
Have a good one, and have some fun on my behalf over in Buffalo City. I don't know what's there in Buffalo, but
it's so cool. We gotta hit you up.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. It's a great city. They love comics here.
Yeah.
I've only been there one time, and I was like, "Ooh, it's dark and dreary." Man.
You gotta come in the summer. Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta come in the summer. I went during the winter. But thank you guys. I appreciate you, and we will see you on the next session. Peace.
Later.